What's up everybody? Jay here with Jay's Backyard Cooking. And today we're getting into some spare ribs that I'm gonna trim into St. Louis style ribs. Let's get into it. So this cook I'm gonna do a little different. I'm actually cooking them indoors in the oven, just a regular bake. My family love when I throw ribs in the oven. If you season them right, they come out delicious, fall off the bone. And with that, I'm gonna pair some Cajun seasoned red potatoes. My family loves this dish. So first things first, I am gonna trim this one up a little bit, and I'm gonna save everything that I'm cutting off because I have some deer steaks in the freezer that I was given a while back that I hadn't done anything with. And I have a feeling what I'm gonna end up doing probably this weekend is I'm gonna grind it all down and turn it in to sausage. So stay tuned for that one. Hopefully I have time to do it. So with St. Louis style ribs, normally what you want to do is just find where the bone is and then cut right down here, right along that the tip of that bone, and then just separate it just like that. Like I said, all of this I'm going to save because I'm going to use it probably this weekend. So with this, what we want to do is try to square it off as much as possible. Find that last rib over here, probably right here. Square that off just like that. Take off any fat. I'm gonna save that because it'll go good with the deer because it's so lean. It almost needs it. I'm gonna cut off this little edge over here. Just like that. So with the membrane, what I like to do is get you just a butter knife and kind of shimmy it in between the meat. It's like threading a needle here, but just thread it in there. Kind of just get all the way across. And then at that point, you just pull as much of it off with your hand as you can. It gets a little slimy. I like to use some paper towel, kind of get a grip on it. And then typically once you get it going, it'll just pull right off. Just like that. Now this I'm not gonna save. This is going to the trash. No reason to save this. It's not, I mean it's edible, but you don't really want to be eating that. Just like that. And get this other little bit of excess off. That's it. Pretty simple. As far as seasonings go, we're keeping it simple. Salt, pepper, garlic. We'll flip that around, do the same thing on this side. That is pretty much it. Now with this one, I am gonna cut it in half because I don't have an aluminum pan big enough to fit the whole thing long ways. So I'm gonna cut it in half and then hopefully it'll fit in the small aluminum pans that I do have. Hopefully, if I cut it down about here, they'll fit sideways, just like that. Just like that, they fit sideways in there. We're running with this. All right, I got the trimmings bagged up and put these in the freezer. I'm gonna clean this area up here real quick because you're messing with pork, salmonella, all that other good stuff. So a little Clorox wipe down all the counters. We'll be back. Hey, Mama.
Hey, baby.
All right, we got the oven set at 275. We're gonna get it preheated. So for this cook, I'm gonna use the Tim Spike XR. And I'm going to pick probably just the fattest part of one of these ribs and shove this spike in there, just like that. We'll get it powered up, just like that. I can watch it from the couch. We'll get these covered up, some heavy duty aluminum foil. Once the temp hits 275, I'll throw them in there and I'll monitor them until they're done. While we're waiting for that to go, we'll get these red tomatoes washed and get them prepped to go in the oven as well. Remember, wash your potatoes. Don't be nasty. These grow in the ground. Wash them. All right, so with the potatoes, I like to put them in here and let them marinate for a little while. And I also typically like to cut them in half. If they're like kind of a small size like this, I'll just grab them and cut them in half. If they're a little bit bigger, I'll cut them in threes. If they're little like this one, I'll just throw in there like that. Just pick and choose how you want to do it. You could even put them in there whole if you wanted to. I like to cut them in half and get them to a little smaller size because then they cook a little faster. So like this one right here, really no need to cut it in half. It's already real little. That one. See, these are a little bigger, so I guess I'll cut them in fours just to chop them down a little bit. If you're new to my channel, you'll hear me say a lot that I'm just giving you the basis of how I do things. It's really up to you on how you want to do it. That part is pretty simple. Just hardest part is washing your potatoes and then grab an oil. We're using EVO. Just dump some in there. And then we like the Tony Chachere's. This is the original seasoning. This is how I make them spicy. These right here are a huge hit. Every time I make them, the family's over. These go before the ribs do. And again, with the seasoning, if you don't want spicy, use salt, pepper, garlic. Or use Italian seasoning, taco seasoning. The possibilities on the seasoning on these are endless. We just like the Tony Chachere's on them. It just gives them a hell of a good flavor. And you season them just right, they come out perfect. So these here, I'm just gonna leave them to marinate here on the counter. And I'm gonna put the ribs in. If you heard the oven went off, and I'm gonna get some dishes cleaned up. We'll be back. All right, the ribs have been going for about an hour. The temp spike is showing 150, 106 internal. So we still have a ways to go. But I'm gonna go ahead and put the potatoes in there. And then I'm just gonna keep an eye on those, checking on them every 30 minutes or so. We still have a ways to go, but I wanna get these potatoes done. And then that way, once everything is done, then I just put them in the cooler and wait till dinner time. So these, because they're already oiled, I'm just gonna put them in another pan and I'm gonna set them right next to the ribs. Oh, and these I'm not gonna cover. We're gonna leave them just like that open and let them do their thing. All right, we are about 2 hours into it and the Tim Spike XR is showing 199. I'm gonna go ahead and pull these because it's gonna be about another hour and a half to 2 hours before we actually eat. So I'm gonna pull these, I'm gonna get them put in the cooler and then we'll check the potatoes while we're there. Like I said, I know the ribs are done already just based off the temperature gauge. I'm not even gonna uncover them. I'm just gonna go directly from the oven into the cooler. We'll close that up. And then while we're here, we'll go ahead and give the potatoes a check. Give them a little toss like that and stab them. They still have a little bit to go. I do suggest that if you do these potatoes, you put them in probably, they take every bit of, depending on how small you cut them. I like to cook them slow. So they take every bit of about an hour, hour and a half, something like that. But believe me, they're well worth the wait. All right, these should be done. Been about an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes. If they go through just like that, they're done. We're gonna get some foil paper on these and get them in the cooler as well. It's almost dinner time. This was an easy one. And believe me when I tell you, it's well worth it. If you like what you saw here, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and comment. Anything helps. We'll see you next time. You know, folks, most people think you need a throne, a crown, a castle, but sometimes a king just needs an oven set to 275 and a rack of spare ribs trimmed down St. Louis style. See, I'm usually outside, tending the fire like it's some kind of ancient ritual. Neighbors peeking over the fence, smoke rolling through the yard, and me acting like I invented pork. But today, I brought the kingdom indoors. No lawn chair, until now. No charcoal. Just me, my wife, some Cajun spiced red potatoes, and a couple of hours of patience. The family isn't here. The house is quiet. The table's got a couple of empty chairs, but we cooked anyways. I seasoned those ribs, slid them in the oven, and made a meal fit for kings. Backyard kings. Because here's the thing, it's not about where you cook. It's not about who's watching. It's about showing up anyways. You don't wait for the crowd to celebrate. You don't wait for noise to make memories. Sometimes it's just you and your wife, honoring the ones you love by keeping traditions alive, even when they're not sitting at the table with you. Life's a lot like those ribs. You trim off what you don't need. You season what you've got. You give it time. And if you do it right, what comes out is tender enough to remind you what really matters. So whether you're ruling a backyard or just your kitchen, remember this. It's not the fire that makes you king. It's the love you put on the table. So until next time, keep the grills hot and the seasoning simple.